Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. Now, if you haven't already and you have the opportunity to and you're not on your television, just in the chat line, just let me know you're there, who you are, and where you live in the world. No addresses, just your general region. I'm just waiting now. We're just going to give people a few more minutes to start checking in, and then we'll begin the class. So, in case you forgot, today we're going to be doing yoga with weights. So I don't have hand weights. I use some tins of food. These are beans. My husband likes Bush's beans, so I usually have a few of these in the cupboard at all times. So if you don't have anything else, go grab a couple of cans. It doesn't matter, as long as you can hold it in your hand comfortably. Hi, Margaret in Oregon. If you have any questions too, this is a good time to ask me while I'm sitting here. As a matter of fact, Janet, she messaged me on Facebook a few moments ago before we came on live and asked me if we could do a particular posture, and I'm going to incorporate that into our practice today. So you can always do that ahead of time. You can always ask me to either explain something or to show within the practice how to do a particular posture. There's Janet. Hi, Janet. And Alyssa. Alyssa, remind me where you live. And Dottie, who's in Raleigh. And Carol. Hi, Carol. I think this is your first live class, isn't it? I think you kind of just discovered us last week. And Carol is in the UK. Millie is in Winnipeg. Winterpeg. Beth is here from Peterborough, Ontario, in Canada. Get a good group started. Just reminding, if you don't have hand weights, and don't go grabbing 5-pound hand weights, you're not going to be able to last as long as you think you should be able to, unless you've already been pressing weights for a long time. Something in the neighborhood of 1 pound, and a can of beans is approximately there. And believe me, after we do a few repetitions, you're going to be glad it's only a can of beans. But make sure it's something you can hold on to without dropping it. If holding on to a weight at all is a problem for you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you don't even have anything that you can hold, if you don't own a can of beans or a can of any food that you could hold and you have no hand weights, don't worry about it. If you want, you could always hold a couple of books. Hardcover books are always handy to have, especially if you don't have a block. You can always grab a couple of hardcover books to replace a block. Carol, yeah, she's joining. Carol is in the UK and she's joining the live class for the first time. Wynn is also from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And Suzanne, my friend Suzanne, she and I have known each other about 100 years. And Marcy, good morning from snowy Georgia. Y'all got snow down there? I've seen it in Myrtle Beach, but wow. Of course, I think that they got it down in Texas too, didn't they? Fran from Delaware. I think that's your first name, right, Fran? It's Fran. It's not Jim. Because it says Jim Fran. So I'm remembering, I think that you've contacted me before and it's Fran. In Delaware. Brenda, hi, from Montreal, Quebec, in Canada. Lee from Connecticut. Yeah. It's Fran. Thank you, Fran. So what time is it? We'll give people a couple more minutes. A lot of people are starting to check in now, so we'll just give them a few more minutes. Make sure to, if you have a moment to go and grab a glass of water or your cup of tea you were working on, make sure you have some fluids nearby. We're not going to be sweating by any means, but it's always good to have a little bit of fluids when you're doing your yoga practice in case you start to feel dehydrated. And I always do because I do a lot of talking and that it always dries out my throat. Okay, I'm just going to move these things out the way here. Also, too, before we begin, I want to remind you that live classes, there is a fee. It's on the honor system. You go to my website, www.northernzenyoga.com, and there is a tab called Become a Patron. When you go on that tab, you'll see a lot of options. You can pay for the class as you go. You can also choose to pay a higher amount, which might cover you for several weeks or a month or however, or you can just make a large donation, and that's okay too. And if you haven't already, make sure you press subscribe. It's important to make sure we subscribe to the channel. You'll get the feed notification for live classes or any other videos that I post. So please press subscribe. And most importantly of all, make sure you tell people about Northern Zen Yoga. We are at approximately 1,500 subscribers right now. And the more subscribers we have doesn't really give me any bonus points or brownie points or anything like that. But what happens is the videos are pushed up into the feed so that they're easier for finding, for one, if you're looking for a particular one. And also it helps other people discover Northern Zen Yoga. If you're getting a benefit from this, if you're finding that doing my yoga practices every day or a couple of times a week is helping you, especially throughout this pandemic, please share that with people that you know. Share it on your Facebook feed. I really appreciate it. And we'll get the word out there because this is so amazing that we are doing yoga with people in the UK. I have people who watch the videos because of the time zone area and they can't catch it live in Australia. I have people in Spain watching. I have people on the west coast of North America and also on the east coast and everywhere in between. So let's get this out there. Let's get yoga going for ladies, especially ladies in our age group. So the Wisconsin hummingbird is here. Good morning. And Jerry, good morning from Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. I'm not too sure what Atlantic Beach is. I know where Calabash is. I've been to Calabash, spent lots of time there. The other thing I want to let you know is that here, I don't know if you could see, hopefully you could see that. That is a postcard size of the Gentle Buddha, which is the logo for Northern Zen Yoga. And there's no other printing. It doesn't say Northern Zen Yoga or anything on it. However, if you email me and ask for it and give me your address, I will mail it like a postcard to you from me to you with a personal thank you written onto it. So if you're interested in getting that, just send me an email. You can also reach my email address through my website, which is www.northernzenyoga.com. All right, let's get going. Now, the first thing we're going to remember, and the most important thing we're going to remember, and I hope you all can hear me properly and the lighting is okay. I don't like a lot of harsh lighting coming down. Too much shadows and too much reflections in the background are happening. Just have a few more people talking here. All right, 2 hours. So you must be closer to the Virginia, I think it is. If I know my North American map right. All right. So, sorry for the interruption. What we have to remember when we're working with a heavy object, besides we don't want to drop it on us, of course, we want to make sure you have a good grip, that you're feeling comfortable with the weight that's there, even just holding it in your hands. But most importantly, when we lift the weight, we don't hyperextend our arm out. Instead, we keep our arms slightly bent. So we keep the contraction up here in the bicep, and we curl the wrist slightly. So when I tell you to raise your arm up, you should have your arm bent so that you're coming up like this. I don't want you to be doing this. This is hyperextending some of the tendons that are here at the joint and putting too much pressure under here in the elbow joint. So as soon as you'll notice, try it yourself. Just hold it with your arm completely extended out, and then just crook your wrist a little bit, just so that you have the muscle contraction happening here, because this is what we're going for. And then make sure you keep that engaged as you come up and down. At one point, I'm going to tell you to rotate the wrist. And then we're going to finish with the can or the weight facing, palm facing down. So that's important for you to remember. The other thing I want you to remember is that if at any time you feel, and we're still going with moving maybe the same movement again, and anytime you feel like you've hit the wall on that particular thing, that your muscles are crying, you're starting to feel really uncomfortable or maybe even painful, stop. Just stop. It's not a contest. If you can do 2 or 3, and I'm doing 4, and that's all you can do, but you felt it, you're doing it. So don't worry about trying to keep up with everybody else or me or anyone, no matter what you're doing. So as we do in every yoga class, let's just sit for a moment and just relax ourselves down. If you can sit in easy pose, fantastic. If easy pose for you looks more like this, or like this, or up here like this, it is what it is. That's what easy pose is for you right now. And if you're feeling a stretching, if you're feeling like your body is trying to do something it's not comfortable with, you're probably in the right place. If you're feeling pain, you need to move until the pain goes away. It's the rule that you have. It's the golden rule of yoga, is that we never, ever feel pain in yoga. Achy stretch, yes, no pain. If you sit yourself up on your cushion or your bolster or a block even, blocks are not very, very soft and comfy, but if that's what you only have available, or the 2 books that you might have that you're using instead of a block, you'll find your hips will open up and drop down a little bit easier. So find your easy pose, what it looks like for you. And then sit up nice and straight. Try to engage your core to help keep you upright. Let your shoulders relax down. Watch you're not tensing up. Let the shoulders relax down. Let your arms relax down into your lap. You can have them here. You can have them here. If you feel more comfortable like this. Whatever feels good for you. And close your eyes. And just begin to become aware of your breath. The breath is so important in yoga. Moving with the breath is a very important aspect of yoga. So just become aware of that breath now. Breathing in and breathing out. And in your next breath in, push your belly out. Extend your belly out, inhaling. And on the exhale, pull your belly back in and up. Push all the air out. In, nice and slow. And out, nice and slow. And watch those shoulders. You're going to want to start tensing them up, so make sure you're relaxed. Shake them out if you have to. And as you breathe in and out, watching your breath, feeling your body, inhaling and exhaling, start to think of an intention for this practice, an intention for the rest of your day. And make it positive. Make it in the present. I am. I will. I am at peace. And then we'll let our eyes float open, and we're going to reach for our weights, whatever they look like. And we're going to begin to move with our breath and the weights. So begin to inhale, coming up. Remember that little elbow bend. Inhale up, reaching up as high as you can. Now, if you get stuck here, and this is it for you, that's it for you. Just stay there and then slowly drop down. But we're going to try to go as high as we can without crunching up. So let's try not to crunch up the shoulders to the ears. Just lifting the hands up, try to tap your weights and exhale. Bring them back down again. Inhale up. Exhale them back down again. Making sure we don't hyperextend our arm. Keep that little elbow bend. Inhaling up again. This time on the exhale, we're going to come down to about halfway, and then we're going to rotate the wrists, and we're going to drop down, and we're going to hover just above the floor. And we're going to stretch from the shoulders right out to the hands. We're going to stretch out, trying to reach for the opposite sides of the room. And then we're going to come down toward the floor. We're going to rotate the wrists forward. Inhale, bend your elbows, coming up. Exhale, coming back down again. Halfway down, we're going to rotate and drop toward the floor and hover. So we're not touching the floor, we're just above the floor. And try to contract your muscles and try to reach for the other side of the room. Feel it right across your back. Again, rotate the cans or your hands toward the front. Bend your elbows slightly. Inhale up. Exhale. Coming down. Rotate again and drop. And this time we're going to come to the floor and we're going to give our shoulders and everything a little shake. Let the tension out. I'm going to grab the cans again. And this time we're going to do some curls. So if you've ever done any weightlifting or you've watched weightlifting, you'll know a curl is when you bring in the weight toward the body using the muscle here. So we're going to keep our elbow nice and tight. We're going to start on one side. You can pick whatever side feels good for you. We're going to keep our elbow nice and tight to the body. And we're going to inhale as we bring the can up toward our shoulder. And we're going to exhale as we drop it out. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And we're just going to go through this a few more times, nice and slow. One more time. And exhale down. And now we're going to switch sides. So make sure you've got that elbow against your body. That's giving you support. Inhale, curling up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. A couple more times. Once more. And relax. Just notice what you're feeling. We're going to bring the cans out straight in front of us. And we're going to rotate the wrists. And we're going to just start to curl together, pressing the elbows in toward the chest, and exhale out. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Be careful you don't do that hyperextension on the exhaling here. That is what we're not wanting to do. We're always keeping that slight bend in our elbow. One more time. And down. So you can drop one of your cans for now. And we're going to hold one can and we're going to rotate the wrist up and down. So if you feel like you're not getting enough support, if that feels too uncomfortable, you can grab yourself just under the elbow and just isolate your elbow so that you have a little bit of support there. And we're going to just tip the can back and forth. So we're getting some nice wrist action here. If you have really, really tight wrists, this might not feel too comfortable. So be careful that you don't go into pain here. Even if you're just agitating the can back and forth like this, you'll find that that might be enough. For everybody else who can do it, we want to get a full rotation so that the can is facing down and then facing up. Let's switch sides. Again, if you like to, you can hang on to your elbow for support. And we're just going to flip this around. Nice and slow. Breathing through it. Inhale and exhale. One more time. And release. And shake out your wrists. We're going to take the cans, and if you have hand weights, what I'd like you to do is, if you've got the type that are like little dumbbells, I want you to grab, you can just use one hand weight for this, but you're going to grab the ends where it's the thickest. And what we want to do here is we're going to relax and squeeze. Relax and squeeze. So this is why I would like you to have the wider part of your dumbbell to squeeze. You can use both dumbbells if you want, but you want to be squeezing the wider part of the dumbbell. As far as cans go, it doesn't matter where you're holding it because the whole thing is about the same size of width. So we're just squeezing the can. And if you're super strong, please don't dent your can. But just a little squeeze and release. We're just spread your fingers out a bit more. Make sure you've got them nice and wide, as wide as you can across the can. And we're going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. So what we're doing is we're just giving the exercise into the hand muscles and the wrist muscles to strengthen them. These are things that tend to get a little bit weak on us as we get older. And release. So now we're going to work a little bit of the 6 directions of the spine with the cans in our hands or the weights in our hands. So let's inhale the arms up. And this time on the exhale, we're going to drop one down and we're going to do a little side bend. So we're going to make sure we keep that elbow bent. That's important. And we're just going to reach across our head. Make sure you don't drop it on your head, please. And stretch for the other side. Make sure both of your butt cheeks are pressed into the ground. So we get a stretch up the side body as well as we're getting our shoulders working. Now, if you have a hard time bringing your arm up that high because of shoulder restriction, then put your can onto the top of your shoulder and lift the elbow up and just try to go for the stretch. Or you can put the can down and just try to work on lifting your hand up over your head. At one time, I couldn't even do this because I had bursitis in my shoulder when I first started yoga. So this works. It does. Eventually, you'll be able to get that bursitis out of there. Inhale up. Exhale. Let's go to the other side. Stretch as much as you can, and if you can't, do it again on this side, or this side is different feeling. You can always just work on lifting up the elbow. Make sure you still have that bend in your elbow. Don't stretch it out too much. Nice big stretch, reaching for the opposite side of the room. Pressing both bum cheeks into the ground. Inhale as you come up. This time on our exhale, we're going to do the twist. Remember, we're twisting gently through the shoulders. If you can, don't rest your hands down. Let the hands off the floor. Keep holding the weight. So we're just pushing back the shoulder. You can shift your weight slightly so that you're feeling more pressure on this side, this butt cheek, the side that you're turning into, than the other one, but please try to keep both of them on the ground. Let's inhale, coming up, reaching up as we come up. Exhale, let's go to the other side. And we're trying not to rest the hands down. We're trying to keep holding the weight up in the air. And again, we're just pushing the shoulder back. We're keeping our belly forward. Inhale up. Let's do that one more time. Exhale. Let's go to the other side. And looking over your shoulder, you don't have to, but if you can, go ahead. If you can't, don't force your neck. Don't try to go deeper in the twist by trying to push your head into the twist. Inhale, let's come up. Exhale, let's go over to the other side. Inhale once more, up. Exhale, we're going to bring the hands behind us, so we're rotating our wrists toward the floor, our hands toward the floor, twisting behind. Try to tap the hands or your weights together. Inhale, let's come back up again. Exhale. Keep that elbow bent slightly, turn, and then bring them behind you, tap them together. Inhale up, rotate the hands so that they're facing upright as you come up. And let's go back down again one more time. Rotate the hands, bring them behind you, tap them together. Inhale up one more time. And exhale, we're going to come into namaste. So the weights or the hands are going to touch each other, and we're going to bring down, bending at the elbow, bring down toward the mid-chest, heart center, in namaste. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, no matter where you are, even if you're way out here, we're going to bend forward, bringing our belly toward the floor. And if you have your legs crossed like I do, you're going to switch now. Just give that side of your body a little break. Flip it around. So front foot back, back foot forward. And we're going to come forward. You can put your hands down on the floor if you'd like to start with. Bring your belly down. Come down as deep as you can into the forward fold. And here we're going to lift up off of the floor. Holding it here, just giving that time just to let our muscles work a little harder. Try to make sure you have that slight bend in your elbow. Don't hyperextend anything. Inhale, bring the hands toward the chest. Exhale, push it out. Inhale, bring the hands in toward your chest. Exhale, push them out. And we're going to keep doing that movement, inhaling in, exhaling out, like we're rowing the boat. One more time, out, in, push your hands down, push into the ground, come up to the upright position. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees for a moment. And we're just going to put our weights aside for a second. Keep them handy. Get your blanket out of the way if you've been sitting on something. And we're going to come into cat-cow. So, I just want to point out here, you notice I put the line down the middle of my mat. It's still there. I don't think I'll ever get it out. It's chalk, and it seems to have liked my mat a lot. If you haven't seen the video I have on Warrior One, it's a good video to watch to help you with your posturing for Warrior One, and the line down the middle is your guideline for that posture. Okay, so the same thing here. If you've already marked your mat, you want a knee on either side of that center part of the mat. You want to have your hands under your shoulders. And we're going to come into cat-cow. We're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So we're going to arch our back, push all the air out. Inhale, drop your belly, look upward much as you can. Exhale, round your back. Inhale. Exhale. Cat-cow. Inhale, head up, butt up, back down. Exhale. Curl your back like an angry cat. Let's push, 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 push into the mat. And come back to flat back. Now we're going to do the hydrant. So we're going to inhale our leg up. Like we're going to take a pee on the hydrant. We're going to kick it back. Inhale it into the chest. Exhale it down. Let's go on the other side. Inhale up. Exhale it back. Inhale into the chest. Exhale down. Inhale. Lift it up like you're going to take a pee. Push it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale down. Other side. Inhale up. Exhale it back. Inhale into the chest. Exhale it down. Toes touch. Knees come wide. We're going to come into the wide leg child pose. And we're going to just walk our hands out. Let your belly fall down into that space between your legs. If you can't push your hips back that far, if you're here, then you can always stick your block here. You can always put a block here just for you to perch on. Lots of sides on the block. But we're working toward pushing our bum down onto our heels. Let our belly get soft. Let it come down. Walk your hands out. We're going to come up onto our fingertips. And relax our head down toward the floor. So I know this might feel a bit awkward for you, and it might not be that comfortable for you. But this particular practice we're doing is really working your back and your shoulders and your arm muscles. So this particular position of having your fingers tented so that your arms are up off the mat as opposed to being relaxed down on the mat is going to help to get a nice shoulder stretch here as you bring your head down. Inhale, walk your hands back toward your body. And come back. And we're going to set up now for pigeon pose. It was requested that we do a pigeon pose, and I thought, yeah, that's a pretty good one to incorporate into this posture. So I'm going to show you pigeon pose two ways. The first way is the traditional way to do pigeon pose. So please watch both ways and decide which way is for you, or you could try to do the traditional one, and if it seems like it's mission impossible, I will show you how to do the other variation of pigeon pose, which is called supine pigeon pose, where you lay on your back as opposed to laying on your legs. So we're going to place our hands as if we're going into downward facing dog. And we're going to push up into down dog. Take this leg, whichever leg you want to start with. I'm going to start with my right leg. I'm going to inhale, bring my leg in front of me and start to turn it sideways so that my knee is pointing on one side and my toes are pointing to the other side of the mat. So I'm going to come in front and do it this way so that you can see it better from this angle, hopefully. So we're going to lift up this leg. We're going to bring this leg in. And the leg is going to be this way across your mat. Knee is on one side of the mat, toes to the other side of the mat. Let's try it again. Inhale the leg up, bring your leg in. We're crossing in front of the body on the mat. Then I'm going to slide my leg back, trying to bring my belly down to the mat. And I make it look really easy because I practiced this for 8 years. So if you're not anywhere close to this, looking like this, you might be here. Then you might go, oh my God, I can't go any further. You might be here. You might have your knee much more toward the center of your body, like this. Your leg might look like this. All I want you to focus on is getting your knee on, if you consider this is the middle line of your body, to get your knee on one side and your toes on the other side. And then creep yourself back until you can rest down on your elbows. So let's try that. I wish I could see y'all so I could go around and make sure you're in the right position, but I'm going to have to just let that go for now and let you do it. And if you've already been there, fantastic. Go into it. Now, if you cannot do that, if that is like, no way, I can't do it, my knee won't bend like that, my hip won't let me, you're going to lay down on your back. I'm going to show you what to do. Make sure if you have a blanket handy, you put a little blanket under your head. You're going to stretch out one leg, you're going to bring the other leg in, and you're going to grab your foot, and you're just going to try to bring this part of your thigh, your knee over here, your foot over there, and even if you just get to here, this is your pigeon. And you're going to work at pulling, not pulling your knee. You should feel nothing happening in your knee. Your knee is not twisting. It's all about here. It's about pulling the leg toward the body. So if you've been in your regular pigeon pose, you can come out of it and go into the other side. Otherwise, get into the supine pigeon. Slowly coming out. Tuck your toe, back toe under. Pull your legs out. You like it and come back into downward facing dog. And then back into child pose. We're going to come up into a standing position now. Make sure you have your cans handy or your weights. We're going to need them. And oh, I forgot, we're going to do something a little bit different first. So we're going to come into the low lunge first before we get into the standing pose. So we're going to come into low lunge on your knees. Oh, I'm so sorry. I rushed the people that were doing the pigeon pose in the reclining position. Let's give them a minute to switch sides and feel it on the other side and to work with that. This is one of the downfalls of not being able to see the class. So I apologize for anybody who got kind of left behind there. I'm going to be doing a video on the pigeon pose. So there'll be a separate video that will be put out over the next few weeks. I'm doing a series on the warrior postures and pigeon pose and some of the other poses that are a little more complicated and are really difficult for me to explain and to show you and to see if you're understanding what I'm saying to you when I can't see you. So I apologize for that. So I'll be doing more of a step-by-step that you can watch and you can practice, so that if I say in our live class, let's do a pigeon pose, or you could do the supine pigeon, then you know what to do and we don't have to interrupt our class time. So if you are in the opposite side of your supine pigeon, come on out of it now. We're going to come into a low lunge. So a low lunge, we're going to begin on our knees. We're going to bring one foot forward. The most important thing to remember in lunge position is that your knee and your ankle need to be aligned, or at the very worst, the ankle can be in front of the knee, but the knee should never be in front of the ankle like this. This will damage your knees over time, if not immediately. So let's make sure we're in the right position for the lunge. We're going to lean down and we're just going to shift the back leg back until we feel the stretch here. And we're going to come up. You can push into your big muscle of your thigh. We're going to grab our can in the opposite hand from the knee that's up. So we're going to be working on this side. Now you can lean into your leg if you like, or you can stay upright. And we're going to do some triceps. So we're going to be bringing our elbow in close to the body, and we're going to push back. Inhale up, exhale back. Just inhaling and exhaling as we go through the movement. So you might find here, I'm not feeling very stable. My body is wanting to fall over. This is also working your balance. So find a place to stare at. Not down, not too far up, just ahead, and just focus your attention on that spot, and you'll find that your balance will improve. All right, let's switch sides. Once again, setting up our lunge position, watching that we have our ankle at least in front of the knee, if not in line with the knee, and you'll know because you'll see a lot of your foot. We're going to scooch the back leg back, finding a bit of a stretch. Come up. And then we're going to do the tricep curl. So we're pushing the can back. Keep breathing through this. Find your spot, your drishti point, where you're going to stare at it so you keep your balance. And relax. Let's come down, knees down, hands down. We're going to come up into the forward fold. Just going to reposition my mat here. So we're going to come up into downward facing dog first, and then begin to walk our feet toward our hands. Or our hands toward our feet, whichever way feels better. Coming into the forward fold. Your knees are soft. They could be bent as much as you like. You can even be like this. Relax. Let everything relax down. Let it stretch out. If you're able to touch the floor, you can stand on your fingers. Begin to work on straightening out the back of the legs. A little bit, but not required. Grab your cans. We're going to come up in a reverse swan dive. So we're going to keep our back nice and straight. We're not going to curl the back up. We're going to inhale, lift up your chest. so that we're in the halfway lift position. Inhale, the arms up, and push into your feet, lifting up your back, nice and straight. We're using the hip joints to do the work. We're going to come into warrior one. Right foot forward, left foot comes back. And if you've got that imaginary line down the middle of your mat, or you've got the real one like I do, you're going to have your foot, the front foot on one side of that line and the back foot on the other side of the line. Look down, make sure you can see your toes so that your knee and ankle is aligned. Make sure your hips are facing forward. You're not drifting over. So we're going to bring the hips forward. You should be feeling nothing in your back at all. You should just be feeling, like you need to balance here. We're going to come again into the tricep curl. So this time we're going to have both hands going at the same time. So inhale, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Keep the arms tight to the body. Inhale up, exhale down. We're going to inhale up, straighten your front leg, reach up for the ceiling. Exhale, coming into a forward fold. Bringing your belly down toward your leg. You can leave one of your cans here. If you have your block handy, great. If you don't, you're going to just grab just below your shin or just above your knee, but you're not going to be ever grabbing onto your knee joint. We always grab above or below. We're going to inhale, reach up the shoulder toward the ceiling. So you've got your can in your hand, you're going to lift up your shoulder toward the ceiling, and you're going to look at the ceiling, and if you can, you're going to reach for it. If you can't, bring it behind your back and work on getting that shoulder up toward the ceiling. Come back to center. Inhale, come back up, grab your other can. Going back up. Exhale, step forward. Stand in mountain pose. Nice and strong. Push into your feet. Tighten up your belly. Strengthen up your legs and your glutes. Bring your shoulders back. Rotate the cans forward. And breathe. I'm going to turn around, but you don't have to. You can stay where you are, and you're going to this time step back to your right foot, keeping your left foot forward, coming into the warrior one position. Do your check. Look down. Can you see your toes? Is your heel pushing into the mat? Are your feet on either side of the center line? Are your hips forward? Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring them down toward the body. And we're going to do our tricep curls. 1, 2. Inhale the arms up. Straighten the front leg. Exhale, forward fold. Coming down. Again, you can drop one can. We're going to place our hand either above or below the knee. We're going to inhale the shoulder up. Work on lifting the shoulder. Don't worry about the can until you can get your shoulder up and you can comfortably see the ceiling. And then you can lift up. Inhale as you come back down. Center. Grab your other can. Inhale, bend the knee as you come up. Reaching up for the ceiling. Step forward. Come into mountain pose. We're going to step back now. I'm going to switch sides, but you're going to stay where you are. We're going to step back into warrior two. So this time, right foot forward, left foot comes back, and we will line up the heels one in behind each other. So if you've got that center line on your mat, you're going to step back, find your center line, find your heel alignment. Your hips are going to be sideways now, and they're going to feel very comfortable sideways. You're going to watch this front knee. It's going to want to drop in toward the center, so you're going to push that knee toward your baby toe. You're going to look down from your standing up straight position. Do I see my toes? If you can see your toes, you're fantastic. If you can't, you're doing one of these, so we want to stop that. We want to come back, or scooch our foot forward, coming into warrior two. We're going to inhale, the arms up. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge here. Suspending the weight. You're going to look toward the front can. You're going to start to stretch the arms out. And this is probably the only time holding the weight you're not going to have your elbows to your thigh. You're going to rotate the can up. You're going to inhale. Bend your elbow now, just a little. Bringing the can over to your head. Have a look at it. Don't drop it. Please, don't drop it. Exhale. Bring your elbow down toward your thigh muscle here. Rest your forearm, not your elbow, your forearm onto your thigh. Inhale, make sure your shoulder is up toward the ceiling. And we're going to push the weight over our head. So our arm is just above our ear. And then we're going to nice and slowly contract your belly muscles as you come up, back into the warrior position. Release down. Turn your toes in so that you're in a wide leg stance. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale. We're going to come into a flat back position. Nice wide arms. Relax your arms down. Reach for the ground or your block. Coming into the forward fold. Just relax here. Let everything get nice and heavy, your head heavy, your chest heavy. Make sure you're bending from the hip joint. This is a hip joint rotation. Don't worry, keep your back nice and flat. If you don't reach the ground, don't worry. Coming back up now. So we're going to come up the way we went down. So we're going to inhale the arms out, nice flat back. Push into your feet, bend your knees if you have to. Come up. Star pose. Relax down. And now you're going to step toward the front of your mat. I'm going to change direction. Stand in mountain pose for a second. It's important too at this point that you listen and feel what you're feeling in your body. What do you feel right now? Close your eyes and feel your body. Do you feel tingly? Do you feel achy? Do you feel like you're going to throw up? How do you feel? We're going to step back the right foot this time, coming into warrior two. So left foot is forward, right foot steps back, lining up the heels, lifting up the arms, coming into the warrior two position. Watch that front knee. It's going to want to cave in, so you're going to push it toward your baby toe. Make sure you can see your toes if you glance down. Drop the back hand down toward your thigh, front hand, turn the can upright, reach it up, bend your elbows slightly. Let's have a look at that can, read it. Breathe here. Inhale, exhale, bring your arm down. Rest it onto your thigh. And the other one, we're going to lift the shoulder up toward the ceiling, reach over our head, bend your elbow at this point, and we're going to reach for the other side of the room. This is called side angle. Inhale, back up, tighten up your tummy, bring your arms up, bring your torso up, back to warrior two. Drop your hands down, turn your toes in. We're going to come into the forward fold again, wide leg stance. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, flat back, as far down as you can take yourself. And when you hit as far as you can go, you're going to drop your hands down, drop the cans down. We're just going to move those cans out of our way for a second. And even if you're using a block, even if you're way up here, you've got a block, and this is as far as you got today, you're going to use your block to move it over toward one foot. And we're going to bend the knee here as we come over. So we're doing a side lunge. If you're able to touch the floor, you're going to walk your hands over, bend that knee, and you're going to stretch out this leg. You want to feel the stretch here. And then slowly, slowly come back to the other side. Bend this knee now. And we're going to stretch that leg out. Come back to center. Relax down. You can let the cans go now. You can move them out of the way. Put your hands on your hips, nice flat back. Push into your feet, come upright. And then you can heel toe until you can get to the top of your mat and standing in mountain pose. We're going to come down to the mat in a nice swan dive. So we're going to inhale the arms out. Exhale. Start bending at the hips, bringing your chest down. Bring your arms forward. Bend your knees. Relax toward the floor. Touch the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to get there. And start walking the feet back. Come back to your child pose. Wide leg or closed leg, whichever one you prefer. Just take a minute there. Then slowly come onto your bottom. So we're going to grab our block. And we're going to be using the block to do some exercises for your back, your low back. I just would like you, if you don't have a block, to quickly go grab a book or something that is this wide or less, could be less, but it's fairly solid so that when you squeeze it, it's not going to collapse like a pillow. Although I guess if you have to, you could use a pillow as long as it's fairly solid. And we're going to come down slowly onto our back. So I want you to very, very slowly come down. Make sure your block is with you. Take a pad, put it just under your head. If you had your blanket handy or a towel or a little cushion. We're going to bring our knees up. And we're going to take the block and we're going to place it between the thighs. And we're going to use the skinniest side. So once you're here, just relax your shoulders down as much as you can. You can roll on your back a little bit. If your back's feeling a little bit tight, just to soften everything down. Got your block here. And we're going to drop the feet to the floor. Not so close that we have to put most of the weight on our heels. Not so far away, most of the weight is on our toes. To a nice comfortable place where you can feel equal pressure on your feet. And all we're going to do here is squeeze gently. Squeeze, 2, 3, 4, relax. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze and relax. Don't relax so much that it drops down between your knees. Just relax enough you're not squeezing. And we're going to squeeze again. Don't squeeze so hard that you feel your feet roll. Just squeeze gently and relax. Squeeze and relax. This particular exercise is wonderful if you have a issue with your pelvis in the low back. You feel like you've got low back pain, but it's not in the spine. It's actually on the sides of your hips. This is going to help that. It's also going to help with sciatic problems. So while we've got this between our knees, we're going to lift up our feet off the floor, bring the block toward our chest, relax your arms out, take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, you're just going to roll your legs over to one side, go onto your hip if you can. Try to keep both shoulders touching down. Squeeze the block. Inhale up. Exhale over to the other side. Keep squeezing that block, just so you don't lose it. Inhale back up again. Let's go to the other side, squeezing the block as we go down as far as we can. Only go as far as you can. You can roll right onto your hip if you like. Inhale up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Okay, we're going to stop here. We're going to drop our feet back to the floor. This time we're going to take the block and we're going to slide it underneath our bottom. So we want to be on that flat place. That place right below our spine and right before our bum gets nice and round. There's a nice flat spot there. We're just going to slide the block there. If you don't have a block, like I said, use books. On the lowest side. So make sure your spine is completely free from this block, that you're not resting it on any part of your spine. If anything, if you're going to err by resting your butt cheeks on it. But you'll know that flat place. It will feel very comfortable there. And we're going to pick up our feet off the floor. And we're going to raise our legs up toward the ceiling. And we're just going to spend some time here. And you can start playing with your feet, pointing them and flexing them. Contracting the muscles in the calves here. And you might start to feel a bit weird. Some people, especially if you have blood pressure issues, you might start to feel a bit strange. It's because your blood flow is changing. We're used to having the blood flow pressure pushing the blood up from the legs as opposed to pushing it from this direction. So just breathe nice and deep. It'll go away in a few seconds, that sensation. Sometimes you'll feel even creepy crawly going up and down your legs. If you like here, you can start to let your legs widen out and bring them back in if you want to add a little more to this. You don't have to. If this doesn't feel good for you, don't do it. And you can always go this way too, like you're walking. Or you can ride a bicycle here. Legs up in the air. You should do this every day, especially if you spend a lot of time on your feet throughout the day. This is so good for you. It helps your circulation. It helps with the varicose veins that start to happen as we get older. And then slowly drop your feet down. Push into your feet, lift up your body a little bit so you can slide your block out of the way. And very slowly come down onto your mat. You're going to feel your body is going to be resisting that a bit because you've been arching your back in a different way. So just be careful here. Bring your knees up, roll on your back. You can go in circles if you like. Side to side, whatever feels good. And at this point, you can stretch out for Shavasana. Shavasana. Everybody's favorite posture, but the hardest one to do because in Shavasana, we have to quiet the mind. It's a type of meditation. It's called corpse pose for a reason. We're supposed to emulate being dead. So everything needs to let go and relax. Widen out your feet, widen your arms out. Let your palms face up. Let your feet flop Flop in, flop out, whatever way goes for you. Take a few more deep breaths in through your nose and let them go out your mouth. Just feel your relaxation response when you do that. Inhale again. Exhaling through the mouth. Very gently close your eyes. Let your jaw relax. Let your breath relax. Let everything begin to melt down into the mat. Take nice deep breaths and let them go through your mouth. And then think of a place in your mind where you have felt most at peace, no matter where that is, no matter what that looks like. And let yourself spend just a little bit of time there. Push away all those thoughts of what you have to do, what you should be doing, what you could be doing. And instead, go to that place and be at peace. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, waking up your body again. And give yourself a nice big body stretch. Stretch it out. Stretch everything. And then bring your knees up. Bring them into your chest and give yourself a nice big hug. And thank your body. Thank you for everything it does for you every day. And then slowly just roll over to one side. It doesn't matter which side. Whatever side feels right for you. And take a few more moments here in this particular spot. And just take them for you. No demands, no expectations. Just another few breaths just for you. And when you're ready, slowly make your way up to a seated position, easy pose, or whatever else feels good for you right now at this point. We'll close our class today by chanting one beautiful Om. So we're going to take a breath in and a breath out, and then we'll inhale for Om. And it doesn't matter if it's not a good one. Just enjoy doing it. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhaling for Om. Om. Rub your hands together, generating some heat, some prana. And as you do this, think of the places inside we work today, our shoulders, our back, our hips. And we're going to send that energy in there. So close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and as you breathe in, open them. Sending the energy inward, and on your exhale, palms to ceiling, sending the energy back to the universe. Scoop up just a little piece, taking it back to your heart center. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Now is the time, if you like, to chat some more with me, ask me some questions. I love answering your questions. I hope you enjoyed this class. Keep in mind, even though maybe you didn't feel it today during the class, you might feel your muscles tomorrow. And that's just the way it goes. You just have to take care of yourself, take Tylenol, rub some muscle stuff in there. But know that what you have done is you strengthen your muscles. That achiness that we get afterward from using the muscles is a sign that we've just strengthened them. And strengthening our muscles at our age is a fantastic thing to do. So if you can remember, you want to rewatch this video on some of the exercises. I also have a short one, I believe, that's maybe about 20 minutes or half an hour that does the arms only part of it. That's also on my video feed too. So keep it up. All right. Anybody got any questions or anything for me to ask me about myself, the yoga practice, the benefits of anything? And don't forget, we now have a class on Friday. Yes, Fridays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or New York time, so that the people on the West Coast don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to come and do the class with us. And for the people who are in the UK, then your class is probably going to be more like around 6:30. You'll have to double check the time zone difference, but about that time in the evening. So it's still doable for you if you haven't had your big dinner yet to come and join us. So I hope to see you there. Have the kickoff this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, Margaret asked the question, why am I breathing in on the exertion when in true weightlifting, and I used to do bodybuilding years and years and years ago when I was quite young, it's the opposite. This is a thing I had to wrestle with too. But in yoga, when we are lifting something, we inhale. And when we're moving upward, we're raising our arms up, we're inhaling. And when we let our arms come down, we're exhaling. So I had to reconcile those two things in my mind with the fact that we're not using a significant amount of weight. It's actually not much more weight than your bones weigh to lift your arms up and down. If we were exceeding a couple of pounds of weight, I wouldn't even be teaching this particular method this way. I would have to go back to the happens here, and that's to help you to. It's a complicated thing, but basically it helps you with the effort. It's the effort of pushing the air out to help you to bring it up. So thank you for that question. It was one I had when I first started watching people who taught it in the yoga studio that I had years ago, who wanted to give yoga with weights, and we had a big discussion about it. I said, well, it's counterproductive. But then when I actually started to practice it, I realized that it's not the same effort, so therefore it doesn't have the same effect on the body. So hopefully that helps. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. I'm glad you're part of the group. And I don't know if it's possible for you to join us on Friday, but if you can, please do. Any other questions out there? Deborah, I forgot to say hi to Deborah. I hope she's still there. She's out in Oshawa. And Patricia Diaz, she joined us from Spain. Hi, Patricia. I hope you're still out there too. Some of you saying that you can feel it already. You can feel the muscles working already. That's a good thing. That's very good. No questions today? The first couple of weeks, you guys had tons of questions you're asking me. Please ask them. This is the time. You're welcome, Suzanne. I'm glad you like that class. Lots of emojis happening there. So you're welcome, Janet. I'm glad I could incorporate the pigeon pose in there. I have a quick question for some of you if you want to give me feedback on that. Was it too vague? Was it too complicated? Did you understand what we were getting at when we were doing the pigeon pose? It's important for me to get some feedback as I'm trying to build these live classes. I want to make sure that my explanations are actually coming through. It's as I've said before, it's quite different when you're actually with a live class of people, because you can see if what your words are saying are being interpreted correctly. Okay, Carol, we'll see you Friday. That's good. I hope you can join. Yeah. Friday is going to be, by the way, a yin yoga class. Now, if you haven't already, and you're still hanging in there, there's not a few people have disappeared already, make sure you are on my newsletter, and you get to my newsletter by going to my website, www.northernzenyoga.com, and there is a drop-down tab, and down in there it says newsletter. So you go on and you fill out the form for your permission to give me permission to use your address, and I will gladly send you the next newsletter. And the newsletter is going to also tell you what are the classes that will be for the next week or two, and so that you're prepared for what to bring or what not to have to worry about. And on Friday, though, if you haven't got the newsletter or if you haven't read it, it is yin yoga again, and it will be a little bit different than the one we did a couple of weeks ago. So there's so many different postures in yin that it's quite easy to make different classes. Even once a week doing it, I can make a completely different class, more or less. So hope you can join me. Okay, if I don't have any more questions, everybody is dropping away. I'm going to say goodbye for this week. Namaste, love you all, and I hope to see you soon again, or not really see you, but you know what I mean? Live for yoga and on YouTube. Bye for now.